Hey guys, this will be the second time I've recorded this post video. It got loud in here for a minute, so I needed to wait for a quiet moment. But the first quote I want to read, and this will just be like a bonus quote for the day. But the first quote is: "An organization needs action like an individual needs oxygen." Okay, this is so powerful because leaders need to understand this about any organization. You have to be moving, you have to be in motion. If you are stagnant and you're in an organization, you're going to start losing people. You're going to start hemorrhaging. This is what is wrong with a large swath of Christianity. There's two problems with like a lot of the bigger movements in Christianity right now. One is they decided to make a deal with the devil, compromise with those with Marxian thoughts, and they lost a lot of people. We call that woke Christianity, right? They started hemorrhaging people. And then two, the ones who didn't just kind of sat down and said, we're going to sing the Hold the Fort hymn and not do anything. And that doesn't work either. And so what has worked tremendously is motion, is always be striving for something. A lot of the evangelicals, but the I'm gonna call them apostolic organizations. That's probably not the best way to put it, but the missionary organizations. Those are the ones who regularly see the most growth. That does mean that they cannibalize their own. So that means like they'll convert an area and then go back and reconvert an area. But in business, that's okay. So in business, you would rather cannibalize your market than to lose market share. And so a lot of the more missionary focused organizations, they just recannibalize. You just have another revival. You just shut down one church and pop up another one, and that's how you keep your organization running. It's what they do. I'm not endorsing it or speaking bad about it. It's just kind of what happens. But sometimes if you're leading an organization and things start getting stale and everybody falls into a rut, you just need some motion. You need to just get people moving. And an organization needs action like an individual needs oxygen. So that's something you need to remember. Number two is that it's a pretty long quote, so hold on here. It says that before men can act on an issue, it must be polarized. Men will act when they are convinced that their cause is 100% on the side of the angels and that their opposition is 100% on the side of the devil. He knows that there can be no action until the issues are polarized to this degree. What this means is, and you have to put this in conjunction with the thoughts and the understanding that to Alinskyites, and especially neo-Marxians, they believe that the ends justifies the means. So them lying about you in order to polarize is perfectly fine. We see this in the news media all the time. What they do is they frame a question. I like watching the press secretary because the news media, they frame it like, listen, you're such a horrible person and everybody hates you and all the world's problems are your fault. Do you think the color red is pretty or not? And as soon as you say, well, yes, I think the color is pretty, you've accepted the premise. And what they said, they run on their media is, oh, the press secretary agreed that she's an evil person and everybody hates her. And so that's what happens when a lot of times when conservatives talk about fake news, that's what they're talking about. There is a language breakdown I've noticed between the right and the left in the United States. The right uses a lot of sarcasm and satire that the left takes literally, and that's an issue. I don't know how we bridge that gap, but a lot of okay, I think sometimes it's done on purpose. They purposely misinterpret you in order to twist things because they can polarize it more, right? As long as long as it hurts you, they're willing to polarize it. Conservatives are not necessarily ones polarizing the country. Generally, conservatives love America. They want to just hug it. The flag of the United States is now a conservative symbol. That's why it's being pulled down everywhere. They're not the ones polarizing the country. And so there's a reason why the left polarizes the country, and it's because they can get their people to become more radical, more violent, and push conservatives down, quiet them down. That's the goal here. Because as long as conservatives are afraid to speak up, then the narrative can be controlled by Marxian thinkers and the Alinskyites. So every time you decide not to speak up, Jordan Peterson says something like, every time you decide not to speak up, you die a little inside. And who you are, diminishes. And I agree with that. And also, when you don't speak up, there are no counter voices, and you'll really feel like you're alone. That's one of the reasons why I've chosen to speak out as much as I have lately, because I want people to understand that if you go hide in your prayer closet and do not come out, number one, you're not being the salt, and number two, that's exactly what they want you to do. And listen, I believe in prayer. I think it's a powerful tool. I think every leader, I've talked about it somewhere on this channel. Every leader needs to know how to pray, and how to pray well and often and long. Quantity is better than quality when it comes to prayer. Quality will come later. But if you never engage, if you never actually go out, then that is a problem. Can God do it? Yes, He can. I believe that. You just get in your prayer closet, and God can deliver food to that prayer closet. God can make that be your job. God can go out and bring souls to Him that way, with you just staying in there. But at some time you need to come out and eat. You need to come out and relieve yourself. At some point you need to come out. And it's not that you didn't have to. God could make it to where you could spend 24/7 in a prayer closet, never needing to eat, sleep, or use the restroom, right? I believe that. But you generally have to come out. And I believe that when you come out, you need to engage in this world. And that means telling this world, hey, there are some things that we stand for, some things we don't. It means doing your research. You got to remember this about Marxian thought. A lot of what the left puts out has a great moral sound to it. And then you peel back the layer and you find out that it didn't work, it was evil, and it had unintended consequences. Unintended for you, but not unintended for them. That's what you need to remember. Because if you never invite a Marxist to your party, if you're trying to get something done for good, never do it. Never let them lead it. If a Marxist is in charge of your organization, just know that it is not what you think it is. It's something way more sinister. Get out. And so if you want to do good, then you need to look at not just the good intentions of what you're doing, but the effects that of what you're doing is happening. And understand that we live in the real world. We don't live in a perfect world. We don't live in a place where a utopia is possible. I'm a Christian, and I don't believe that we can achieve utopia here until Jesus comes back. I believe we can get better. And the best way to do that is by incremental changes, because it's so much easier to destroy than it is to build. And as I have as I've talked about in past videos, Marxists and Saul Alinskyites are willing to destroy to achieve what they want. And so speak up, know what they're doing, know what they're talking about, and figure out how some of this stuff might be able to work for you, work for us. Think about it.